I know many of you may be going through some difficulty in your life, to the point that you may feel that God has left you or abandoned you, and you may feel like giving up. Well, I'm here to tell you that He hasn't. In fact, it is far from the truth. Take it from me, I recently had and having some very challenging life experiences, from losing a job to serious health issues. But I've learned that God has not abandoned me. Rather, He is with me through it. You see, when I asked God for humility and He put me in a position where I needed to rely on others, I asked God for patience, and He gave me difficulty that stretched the barrier of my emotions. I asked God to help me love as He loves, and He put the most difficult people in my life. I asked God for knowledge, and He surrounded me with questions that challenged my understanding. I asked God for peace, and He gave me chaos. I asked God to help me with my anxiety, and He gave me complexity. I asked God to increase my faith. He put me in situations that broke me and brought me to tears and my knees. I asked God for wisdom. He surrounded me with the elderly who knew Him and His word. I asked God to help me to be better at my job. He gave me tasks that made me work harder. I asked God for the opportunity to share the gospel. He pulled me out of my comfort zone. I've learned that God has to break you to make you. Brokenness is not the last step to hopelessness, but the first step to godliness. I've learned that His hand is always outstretched to save us. But we get so down in our sorrows and pain that we fail to look up. Everything I asked God for, it appears He had given me the opposite, so that I might learn to find peace amid the storm, comfort in suffering, and joy in chaos. For it is there He may be found, and the answer to my prayers reside. Let me encourage you today to not run from the storm. Too many of us speak to God about our storms, when we should speak to the storms about our God. When Jesus and the disciples were on the boat in the midst of the storm, Jesus didn't speak to the Father, He spoke to the storm. I've learned to speak to the storm and tell it how big my God is, and that He is bigger than any of the storms in my life. And just like the disciples in the boat, they were not alone. Jesus was with them in the storm, and so He is with me and you. We are not alone in the storm. I've learned that brokenness and trials lead to spiritual growth and reliance on God. 2 Corinthians 12:9-10 states, "But He said to me, My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong." Through adversity, we learn to depend on God's strength and find His presence in all circumstances. Remember, where there is Christ, there is always hope, because greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. I pray this was helpful and that you all stay strong and remain encouraged through the power of His might. If this video has touched you, please leave a like and don't forget to share and subscribe. May the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make His face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn His face toward you and give you peace.